Hi everyone, Alex Tardy here with the Weather Echo. We've got a new insight for you. Now it feels like fall outside. We've got rain in the Pacific Northwest. Overall, near average temperatures for the West over the next couple weeks, but still continued warm in the middle to eastern part of the United States. I think that wet weather will continue in the Pacific Northwest into October. And boy, they need it. It's been drier than normal, and most of the West has had a very dismal summer monsoon. Now, Santa Ana winds, yes, Santa Ana winds are possible by mid-October. It's that time of the year, and let's take a look at what might create that. Okay, a recap of September. The Southwest, California, much wetter than average. I mentioned a weak, limited monsoon rainy season, but this was from tropical moisture. It came up with upper lows, and showers and thunderstorms early in September and late September were widespread. Pacific Northwest, they should be getting storms in the middle of the summer even, and they didn't. Not many. And then the Great Basin, drier than usual. Now the Southeast has become dry. Take a look at that, much drier than usual. Now for temperature, the Pacific Northwest, again, they stand out, and that's been the trend all summer. Warmer than average, much warmer than average near the Canadian border. Rest of the country, a little bit warmer than average, except for the Southeast and far Southern California, right around normal. Okay, what's going to change, or what do we expect coming up? Well, we've got a storm system, a jet stream, an upper level trough moving through the Pacific Northwest as shown here. That is bringing bouts of rain in that area where they do need the rain. Now, across the eastern part of the United States, that big H is a heat dome, so really warm conditions, warmer than usual. Now, does that change over the next week? Not really. You see a dip in the jet stream over Northern California, a little more precipitation expected down to the I-80 corridor, okay? Maybe even some light rain or drizzle for our coastal area. That H remains over the eastern part of the United States. So very little change with those wet conditions in the Northwest and into Northern California. That's great for fire weather season. Now, what is not so great is Southern California potential for Santa Ana winds. Now, it looks like right now the jet stream is going to consolidate in the North Pacific, and that'll allow a storm track into the Great Basin. That is the key to start setting up potential for Santa Ana winds, and it is that time of year. Now, behind that, there's not a lot of cold air, and that's the missing ingredient right now. So that system that you see along the black line, the potential inside slider or storm system tracking across Oregon through the Great Basin and then to the east, is going to need to draw that cold air to bring that high pressure that sets up that offshore flow or that high to low flow. So right now it looks like the first potential is the middle part of October. So we'll keep a close eye on that. So that's 2 weeks out. Okay, this is also guidance that goes into mid-October and even the late part of October. Now take a look at things. So what we're seeing potentially is a pocket of cold air with that dip in the jet stream going into British Columbia. So this isn't ideal for a significant Santa Ana wind, but it can still set up the stage for offshore flow and some type of Santa Ana wind. Notice what happens mid-October and then late October. So you see that massive warming across the west, replacing the cool or near average conditions. And that's an indication of potential Santa Ana wind. We see the cold air that sets it up or creates that high pressure from high to low, and then we see the warming because of the offshore flow that sets up after. Also notice the storm track in the Pacific Northwest. That is the green shaded, meaning wetter than usual conditions for about a 2-week period in mid to late October. So that is a sign of the storm track dipping across the Pacific Northwest, potential bringing that cold air and the potential for offshore flow Santa Ana winds. Look at the warm conditions even in mid to late October. Look at the middle of the country, the Great Lakes and Northeast, very warm pocket of air. So with the jet stream dipping in the west, that's pumping up that warmth into that region. And that area already is warm, and we're looking at 2 or 3 weeks out here in the future. Okay, let's look even further. Okay, October, November. So it looks like temperatures in that area, the middle of the country, central Canada, remaining warm, if not much warmer than normal for October. And a little bit of erosion in November, but still dominant warmth. Really no sign of cold air, okay? Typically that's good for Santa Ana's, but that means we can still get weak to moderate Santa Ana winds because we are on the back side of that storm track potentially. Let's look at the storm track. And the storm track for October and for November looks like it's going to go across the Pacific Northwest. So an area that really needs the rainfall to make up for the dry summer. Look at the eastern part of the United States. Without a tropical system, that's the caveat, that area could be dry to very dry. And that's a sign of what's to come this upcoming winter, really what we're seeing here. This storm track, this weather pattern is also what we looked at in prior videos, prior briefings of what could be prolonged December through February. So that black line is the storm track. So wetter conditions along that and north of it, and drier south and east of it. This is what it's looking like now for the precipitation pattern for October and November. This could mean a drier than average for much of California as we go into the fall of November. All right, hope you found this useful. More information in real time is posted on X, TikTok. We also post shorts, yes, short videos on YouTube in addition to these longer videos. You can keep up with the latest information after the storm, during the storm, or predicted weather in the blog. So sign up for that if you'd like to get those notices. All right, everyone, stay safe. Thanks for tuning in.